Hello and welcome to the video. This is a quick look at one of the latest radios from Jumper. This is the T15 Pro. This is actually a specific version of it. There's 3 different versions of the T15 Pro available in loads and loads of different colors. I think this is cream and brown, I think, or something like that, although I got this one because it looks orange and orange is one of my flight colors. This one is actually called the T15 PRO FPG, and it has a couple of extra features on here over the other 2 SKUs available. Now, because it's the FPG, it has a couple of differences. It has a leather strap at the back, it has a little kickstand thing in here, it has slightly different gimbals. We'll have a look at those a little bit more closely, and it also has lighting around the gimbals as well, which seems to be a common gimmick that lots of modern radios are looking at. Now, I looked at the T15 a while ago. This has actually been out, I think it came out November 2025, so it's not a new radio by any stretch of the imagination, but I've managed to get my paws on one. So I thought, let's show you how it comes in the box. Nicely, you do get a nice case for it and some other bits and pieces, a nice gimbal protector in the bag as well. Talk about the specs, and then let me show you all the switches and whatnot, and show you what I like and what I found that you just need to be aware of before you think about buying one. So in terms of the specs, this has a H7 processor inside, so it's one of the latest generation of radios with a lot of CPU horsepower. Screen size on this is a 3.5-inch 480 by 320 screen, IPS, so it's nice and bright and easy to see. Has Hall sensor gimbals on the ROC90, built-in single antenna express LRS system with a 1 watt maximum power, has a JR bay at the back, full size, which I really like. Also has a TF card built in chip, which is the way that EdgeTX recommend that you do it, although I can't see an additional SD card adapter in here, so it looks like that if you want to add additional storage, that's going to be a bit tricky. It's powered by 2 18650s or 21700s. There is that ability to put those in the back. Weight is 185 by 175 by 79 millimeters, and the weight is about 481 grams. And I'm very pleased to say it balances beautifully when the batteries are in it from the neck strap. So let's go through the individual switches and controls that are on the radio and go through all the different ports and pieces. Now, this has a single antenna, so this hasn't got Gemini or diversity. Standard kind of pop it up and swivel it round. On the top are 2 shoulders. We have 1 momentary switch, and we have 1 latcher as well. And then we have these 2 blanks that appear to have holes in, as though that's supposed to be for some kind of other kind of switch. And I'm just wondering whether or not they would release extra switches, because that's one of my criticisms of this radio, is that it doesn't have enough switches if you're flying anything other than a quad or a very simple plane. On the top then we have our USB-C connector, and we have a 3.5mm jack. Then we have 4 3-position switches along the top, all the same height, no difference in height. That can be nice when you're flying FPV in particular, just to kind of feel the different heights if you're not sure which is which. 2 rotary controls, S1 and S2, both with a very light detent in the middle. I'd like a little bit more of a detent if we're using them for things like gain control or something else. These are the specialist gimbals that you get with this particular edition. They feel very nice. They kind of go into the corners. The reach is only just enough when you're thumbing. The ergonomics, it does have this swelled grip at the back. We'll do more about back in a minute. And your finger kind of curls over the top, almost like the grip of a gun, and it sits in your hand really nicely. For pinchers, it's not as neat. You can get into the corners, but there's an awful lot of meat here on the side of the radio, which means it's probably not as natural if you are a pincher. Then we have the trims, again, indication that this isn't really designed for fixed wing as a primary use. We have these joysticks. I'm not personally a massive fan of those. power button in the middle, and then we have the 6-position switch arrayed around the bottom of this swappable kind of faceplate here. I quite like this actually, because it means that you can kind of get into these individuals below each of these controls. So if you wanted to have S1 and S6 for specific things, you've kind of got that option. That's a nice thing. Then we have the touch screen, and then we have a rotary control that's also an enter button. And on this side, we have this kind of 4-way button that has an enter in the middle. Sadly, there's no printing around this, because believe it or not, these things all do specific stuff. Because you might have noticed there's no button to take you into the system menu, there's no button to take you into the model menu. That's kind of all here. So the middle button is actually for page, system is over here, model is the top one, the telemetry stuff is the right hand one, and the bottom button here is return. Sadly, there's no printing to remind you of that, and I found it really difficult to keep track of what is going on. On the back, if we just turn it over very quickly, we have the power in here, comes with an adapter for two 18650s. This edition also has this stand, which lets it stand up if that's something you're interested in, which is quite nice, and a full-size JR bay as well. No port on the bottom. The other thing that you'll note, if let me just put the thing out and turn it on,
Welcome to EdgeTX.
Is that is the volume turned up. You can see here that it has lots of LEDs all over the place. Again, the LEDs are a special edition with this thing. So we have them around the joysticks themselves, around the gimbals. We have the backlit, all the other pieces. However, when you start to look at stuff, so if I, for example, press the model button, we have the model setup. But if I then press tab, it does tab through them, but we haven't got the normal breadcrumbs that we would normally have on the top. You have to kind of remember that way round. So if I kind of exit out of there, similarly, if we go into the system menu, you get this very different way of navigating around. Now this radio, as I said, the introduction's been out for a little while. So you can see here that if you want to look at things like radio setup, you click on there, then it gives you a next row of icons, and you can look at things like trainer. If you click on trainer, then it will take you into the trainer interface, and return will take you out. So it's not a standard navigation setup by any stretch of the imagination. And that, for me, playing with it here has made it very tricky to use compared to some of the other radios that I have in that have a more traditional navigation style with a system menu or model menu and the, you know, return, telemetry and page buttons down here on the left hand side. I genuinely think it would have been better if they would have printed on here what each of these buttons do, because for the life of me playing with it, I get lost when I'm playing with stuff. And then when I start to play with this whole way of doing things and navigating is just a little bit counterintuitive. If you're used to normal EdgeTX, then, you know, it's kind of, you have to kind of figure out where everything is, because the normal shortcut keys that you're used to playing with just aren't there. So what do I like about the T15 Pro FPG after having it here for a couple of days and having a play? Well, there's quite a few things that I like. I like the different color schemes that are available. Makes it easier to spot which one is your radio when you're flying with other pilots. I know it's something that I hear a lot from other manufacturers' radios that are available in the same color scheme as Henry Ford, where you can have any color you want as long as it's black. Lots of radios these days do come in these different colors. They're Marmite. Some pilots love them, some pilots hate them, but it does mean that it's a little bit easier when you're at the field with your mates and you all put your radios down to figure out which one is yours. I think 2 additional switches would have been perfect and really opened it up to use on more sophisticated setups like fixed wings with and without flight controllers for more demanding applications. These kind of shoulder buttons on the side always, to me, speak of a radio that's been more designed for quad pilots rather than aimed at pilots who have lots of different model types. I do like the way that it has the full-size JR bay at the back. I like the way that it has lots of lights, if you like that kind of thing, but actually flying in darker conditions, it can be a little bit easier to find it in the grass on your feet. I like the fact that the SW1 and SW6 six-position switches are underneath where the sticks are. That makes them actually a lot more usable. It's easy to find them with your thumbs by just rolling them off the gimbal. Your kind of thumb naturally finds them. So those are really handy as well. And that's great because we haven't got those additional trim switches like we have on some radios that we can use for those additional controls. There are a couple of things to be aware of. They have decided to invent that new way to navigate the main areas of EdgeTX on the radio, and the fact that there are no legends or printing on the navigation control on the left hand side makes it harder to use. It is a single antenna, so there's no diversity or Gemini here. Not that that's a big problem if you're not flying any kind of ranges or pushing the area that you're flying around in, but you know, other radios have that, so if that's something you're interested in, keep that in mind. Only 4 3-position switches as it ships. The indents for the rotary controls S1 and S2, in my humble opinion, are a little bit light. They're going to be hard to find when you are rushing, and the gimbals feel okay. There's no problem at all. The springing and tension of them is a little bit light, so I would probably want to get in there and try and stiffen them up just a fraction. From the factory, they're just fractionally too loose. Again, that's a very personal thing. It is again super comfortable for thumbers, but pinchers might find it a little bit trickier. So in summary, this is another radio that I think is really designed for quad pilots with a little bit of thought about what those who fly fixed wing might want. And the things like the joystick style trims in the middle and the limited switches, and again, no sliders are kind of evidence of that, with just the arming and the pre-arm buttons on the shoulders for things like beta flight. The design is modern and sleek, but maybe not to everyone's taste. But my single biggest hang-up with this is the new design for the navigation control and the lack of printing on the case for it. It becomes very annoying if you have used other radios and are used to the way that we've been navigating around Open EdgeTX for the last 14 years. It's like swapping the brake and clutch pedals in a new car and expecting you to just feel comfortable straight away. I'm sure I would get used to it over time, but it's so radically different, not only there but also in the interface, that for me, doing anything with the radio was just super tricky. But if you're looking for a very different looking radio for your quad or UAV, then be aware that this is out and it's a little bit different from the rest of the crowd. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Pedantry 60 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.